G'day guys, Ant here, and I don't think I'm gonna call these Homebrew Wednesdays anymore because they're very rarely on a Wednesday. It's unfortunately getting more and more to homebrew whatever day I've got time to sit down for 15 minutes and make a video. I don't actually have anything to drink with me at the moment, so that sucks, although it is only 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday. Well, main reason for the video is obviously I'm starting to get a few more views, which is great. I think we're up to, I don't know, 5 subscribers or so, which is good. The reason I wanted to make a video is because I'm hitting a bit of a crossroads with the brewing, and I would like to get a bit of feedback. I know a lot of you guys just like to just watch, because I think we're getting like 30-40 views a video on some of these videos, but no comments. So if you don't want to comment, that's fine, but I'd appreciate some input. It's getting a bit stale. I'm doing the extract brewing, and I'm adding to it, and I'm doing some grains and some hops and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know. I'm just finding it's a bit too easy. Like just now, I've just actually made a batch now. It's a Cooper's Amber Ale extract with a kilo of light dried malt extract, some dextrose, whatever I had left. It was a 500 gram bag that I'd already used, so maybe 200 grams dextrose, 50 grams of Simcoe hops put in at the hour. Sorry, before that, the grains, I had 250 grams of Vienna malt, which I just steeped at around 70 degrees, 65, 70 degrees Celsius for about an hour. Brought it to the boil, dried malt extract in, put this 50 grams of Simcoe hops in for an hour. 15 minutes later, put in another 25 grams. I then put another 10 grams in 15 minutes later, so at the hour, half hour, 45. And then at flame out, I threw in some Cascades that I just had lying around that I haven't used for a while, and I really wanted to just get rid of them. So it was about 10 grams of those. Threw them in and left it for 10-15 minutes while it was cooling anyway. And at the end of that, I mixed in the dextrose and the liquid malt extract. I'm finding that I'm cutting some corners as well, because I've kind of got it down pat, that I know what I'm doing, and like I almost missed one of the hop additions because I forgot to set my timer, because I'm just sort of jumping through it. And I don't know, I'm finding that I'm getting a bit bored of the just extract brewing. So I was thinking of going back into kegging. I've got the room, I just don't know if I want to put a keg. I know where I can fit a keg, I just don't know if I want a keg in there. Plus it's another, I've already got 2 fridges and a freezer. It's running another freezer, plus rebuying all the keg equipment. So you're looking probably $500-600 for the kegging gear, unless I can find a second-hand one nice and cheap. But I think it's the brewing itself is becoming stale, not home brewing. So what do you reckon on going back, well, not going back, actually going into all grain brewing? Like, what do you reckon? Is it real easy to start? I mean, I've sort of got the concept of brewing down pat. I understand how it works. I could definitely understand hops a lot better and what to use and how to use them properly. But I think if I went into all grain, I'd concentrate more on that. At the moment, I'm just kind of chucking them in. I've got an idea. I'm looking up recipes and what they use the hops in, and I'm sort of applying the same. But yeah, I mean, I haven't had a bad batch of beer, and I know that's quite lucky. It's always worked for me. Maybe because I cook a lot. I like to think I'm a good cook. Maybe I've got that timing and additional and concepts down pat, where I know what sort of goes with what, and I don't know. I'm just thinking maybe all grain might be something I can do and get into without too much hassle. I've looked up, I've got an idea on what equipment's needed, so I'd obviously need a burner. Because my stoves, I can barely get a frying pan hot on my stoves, they're horrible. So I'd need a burner, a couple of pots, some sort of mash tun, and that's going to be close to it as a basic setup. I can get the pots quite cheap, just through like a connection that I've got in the pot world, as in pots and pans, not marijuana. But And the burner itself, they're cheap. I saw in my local home brew shop's got second-hand gas burners. God, they're like $30, and I can get it checked by a plumber for nothing to make sure everything's connected right and nothing's sort of damaged and broken. So it's not going to be an expensive exercise for me to get into. But I guess one thing that it's hard to tell on the videos, because obviously they edit it and cut it, how long does the process really take? Because there's guys on YouTube and on forums that are like, no, I'm not getting into all grain because it takes all day to make a batch of beer. I can't dedicate an entire day, like 8, 9, 10 hours to making a batch of beer. Just I can't do it. But if it is only a couple of hours process, then I can do that. Like even just now, that batch I put on just now, that was an hour's steeping and an hour boil. So there's 2 hours to start with. So if it's a 2-3 hour process, I can make it happen. I guess I don't know, I'm just a bit bored of, I think I'm bored of extract brewing. Or maybe I go into like mini mashes or something. Maybe that's what I need to do. Go into like a mini mash. I know at the moment I'm doing that sort of step above extract. When I've got like the specialty grains and the hops as well, but maybe I need to go and maybe do a mini mash next. Maybe that's the next step. I don't know. I'm still loving the beers. I'm still loving the process. I love being part of the community. I'm on the forums all the time, chatting to people. I've got a few private messages on the forum saying that they've seen my videos and they like it as a startup channel. They think it's been pretty handy, which is cool. So I'm not stopping home brewing. That's 100%. I'm just, what can I do next? And I guess that's what happens in a lot of my hobbies. I get into a hobby and I jump in and I start, and within 6 months I need something more. I need to get further into it. So perhaps maybe all grain's the way to go. I was thinking, like I said, of going into kegging, but I don't know. It's a fair bit of money to spend on something that I don't particularly need. Like I've got no issue with bottles. I like pouring a beer out of the bottle, so it's no drama. I don't know. Anyway, so the last batch I did turned out pretty well. I've just had a bottle of it. I haven't had any more. It's not ready yet. I just wanted to try one. It had been in the bottle for 2 weeks. I could see from the yeast on the bottom of the bottle it wasn't ready. So with the cerveza, I had that, all that yeast on the bottom of the bottle, and I thought that there's something wrong with it. And that turned out crystal clear. After it took about 4 weeks, but it was crystal clear. And that was just your standard kit and kilo with that was a Cooper's IPA liquid malt extract, a kilo of light dried malt extract, and 500 grams of dextrose, and 50 grams of Galaxy hops that were just done as a hop tea, like as an addition. So as basic as you can basically get without the addition of hops, but not a real hop addition. Just a hop flavored liquid addition. Came out really nice. I've had one bottle. Still had that just back of the throat yeast, because obviously you could see in the bottle that it wasn't ready. But the taste of it is actually quite nice. So I got 24 bottles of that downstairs, so I'm quite happy with that. The batch I just put in, I tried something different because I forgot to get something, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I forgot to get water. I generally use bottled water, so I buy those 10 kilo bottles of water and use that to fill my fermenter. And I forgot, and I got home, and I'd been out today, and I'd done a few things. I got home, I'd had a shower, I got changed, and I just couldn't be bothered because I've got to go out again later. I've got to go out in like an hour and a half. I just couldn't be tortured going back to the shops. So I filled from my hose. Now, I've never filled from my hose before. The hose has only ever had water in it for like just hosing the garden. I sanitised the nozzle. I sprayed into the hose itself, like I sprayed down there with my spray bottle just to try and get some sanitizer in there. I can't see it being... I tasted the water out of the tap and it tastes fine. Like it just tastes like water, and it's really cold because it's freezing here at the moment. It's like 12 degrees here, so I guess for some people that's not, but in Sydney that's bloody cold. So that kind of helped that the water was quite cold. It helped bring that temperature down. Got it down to about 24 before I pitched the yeast, so that was fine. The good news is where we are now is actually the temperature, especially in winter, it's fermenting at around sort of 17, 18 degrees. So I'm finding the beer's a lot crisper. in my old place was fermenting around 21 to 24, which is that high end of as high as you want to go. And now I'm quite low, which is nice. So that's just under the house. I don't know what it's going to be like in summer. I'd imagine it'll be quite warm. So I'll have to work out in summer where I'm going to keep it, because I don't know what this house is like in summer, and obviously I'm not going to have the fermenter in the house, but under the house I'd imagine would get quite warm in the summer. We haven't been here for a summer yet. I've got a couple of ideas on places that I could put it, and I guess I could keep, like, you know, the towel around it with the Coke bottles in it to keep it cool. So I've got a couple of ideas. It's just, I guess I'll play that by ear. You never know. It's under the house and it's on like rock and everything, so it might actually stay cool. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. What else? Looking at buying a wort chiller. If I'm going all grain, I'll definitely need one. Even if I'm not, it's getting a bit of a pain having to use a cold water and all the time. I'd rather just get it cool out of the pot. They're only about $100, so I think I might just grab one. I'm just doing a bit of research on the best sort and the best sort of setup on them, because there's heaps of different types. I don't know whether there's some that's more efficient than not, so I'm just waiting to see how that goes. There's a place online that I found quite near me actually that's got about a dozen different types on their site, so that'll be good. But anyway, look, I'm past 10 minutes, so I'll leave it there. I just wanted a bit of a ramble and just to get your feedback on all grain. You know, is it worth doing? How long does it, on an average sort of brew, does it really take? And is it relatively easy to get into? I don't want to go and buy everything that I need, and I find it really difficult. So I guess my skill level is extract brewing. I'm doing it without recipe. I'm doing it with my eyes closed. You know, I'm knocking out just the standard kit and kilo mixes with a hop addition in, you know, from nothing to in the fermenter in 40 minutes, and doing full boils, especially grain. So I think I'm at that advanced extract level, and I think I'm ready for the next one. So I definitely want to get your opinion if you think it's something that you reckon is at least worth trying. And if you've got any resources, like I've been looking up YouTube videos, but if any of you have got good videos and resources on getting into all grain, that'd be great. Even if on your channel you've got some, even if it's not introduction to all grain, but if you've got a couple of videos that are actually showing, you know, this is how I make a brew from start to finish with all grain, link it to me. I'd really like to have a look and see the sort of home brewer's process. You know, I don't have, I'm not able to dedicate like a whole room or a garage to all grain, so it'll be stuff that I can put away when I'm not using it. I have got storage space, but it'll be put away when I'm not using it. So I'd love to see some of your setups if you can. Thank you for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe, anything you feel like doing, and I will see you next time. Thanks guys, bye.